Hi, I'm Jeff Kober, and we want to talk a few minutes about the Mark Twain in Frontierland at the Disneyland Resort. The Mark Twain was one of the first attractions to open at Disneyland back in 1955. The steamboat was inspired by many that sailed down the mighty Mississippi. They were beautiful, but they were fragile ships. With all of its intricate lattice, one had to be careful not to ground her on the river, hence the depth calls of Mark I and Mark Twain. One also had to be careful of boilers overheating, of blowing up or resulting in a fatal calamity. By the time the replica of a steamboat opened at Disneyland, these sort of concerns had long been resolved. But there were still other problems that needed to be addressed. Cast member Terry O'Brien was one of the first people hired to work on the Mark Twain at Disneyland. Observing all the excitement of that opening day with its parades and festivities and celebrities like Art Linkletter and Ronald Reagan, it was easy for Terry to be distracted. O'Brien's role was to admit guests into the holding area where they would await the next ship. Since the ship was brand new, the designers, Imagineers, had no idea how many to actually admit at one time onto the ship. The designers estimated that probably the number should be kept somewhere around 200-300 people. With no turnstile, Terry was given a clicker, and all day he would click as people entered into the holding area. After a while, the job, became mundane. So Terry O'Brien started just chatting with the guests nearby. Eventually, the ship came back into the landing and another group took off. Shortly thereafter, the ship signaled trouble. With so many guests on board, the boat had derailed off track and sunk into the mud. It took a while for management to get it fixed and back on track. As it came back into landing, all those people rushed to one side to get off the ship, and the boat again tipped into the water. The supervisor approached Terry and asked, how many people did we put on the boat? Quickly, Terry responded, about 250, to which the manager then said, maybe we should keep the number closer to 200. As the supervisor left, Terry took out the clicker and realized that he had actually put 508 passengers on board the Mark Twain. Embarrassed, he told no one. He made sure that it never happened again, but he never let anybody know about it. The reality is, everyone makes mistakes, and we have to create a learning culture so that people can learn from their actions. When we don't allow people to learn from their mistakes, they tend to, hide what they've done, or they go underground and tell no one. The best option is to give people the space where they can learn from what they do and use them as opportunities for improving the organization. As you listen to the story, ask yourself, is your organization a learning culture? Do you allow people to learn from their mistakes, or do you hold it against them? And what can you do to send a message that really not only should we learn from our mistakes, but we should share them for the benefit of others?